The night the forest began to glow, Elaine knew his life would never return to what it had been. The ancient trees, older than memory, breathed a silver light into the air, and the wind carried a sorrow so deep it felt alive. People had always feared the enchanted forest, whispering that it swallowed hope and returned only regret. But on that night, as Elaine stood at its edge with a broken heart and trembling hands, he felt something else calling him forward. It was not danger that tightened his chest, but longing, the kind of longing that grows after loss, when the world feels hollow and the only thing left is the question of whether love can survive beyond fear, beyond rules, beyond the borders drawn by others. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in love that refuses to die even when the world says it should, take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive, and maybe, in some small way, keeps belief alive too. Elaine had grown up in the village of Briarfall, a place that lived in the shadow of the enchanted forest. From childhood, he was taught to keep his distance, to never cross the moss-covered stones that marked the boundary. The elders spoke of people who went in and never returned, of magic that twisted the heart and stole the soul. Yet Elaine had never been afraid of the forest itself. He was afraid of the emptiness inside him, the quiet ache that had settled there since Leora vanished. Leora, with her warm laughter and eyes that reflected the sky, had always believed the forest was misunderstood. She said it listened, that it remembered, and that it guarded something precious. When she disappeared during a sudden storm near the forest edge, the village decided the forest had taken her. Elaine refused to believe that love could be erased so easily. Days turned into months, and grief reshaped Elaine's life. He worked, he ate, he slept, but nothing felt real. The villagers pitied him. Some whispered that he was cursed for loving someone who challenged the old rules. His parents urged him to let go, to find peace and acceptance, but Elaine's heart resisted. Every night he dreamed of Leora standing among glowing trees, reaching out to him through a veil of light. Each morning he woke with renewed pain and an unshakable sense that she was still alive. The forest, once the distant threat, became the center of his thoughts, not as a place of fear, but as a place of answers. When Elaine finally crossed the boundary stones, the world seemed to hold its breath. The forest welcomed him with an eerie calm. Leaves shimmered as though dusted with starlight, and the air felt heavy with memories not his own. He walked for hours, guided by instinct rather than path, until exhaustion forced him to rest. In the silence, he felt the weight of his doubts. What if the village was right? What if love had led him to madness? But then the forest responded, not with violence, but with warmth. The glow around him intensified, and for the first time since Leora vanished, Elaine felt hope that did not hurt. The deeper he went, the more the forest revealed itself as a living thing. Trees leaned toward him, roots shifted beneath his feet, and whispers brushed his mind, speaking of loss, devotion, and sacrifice. Elaine realized the forest was not evil, but protective. It tested those who entered, searching their hearts for truth. Many who came seeking power or escape were turned away, lost to their own darkness. Elaine came with nothing but love and a promise he had never broken. The forest recognized that, and slowly it allowed him to pass. Elaine's journey was not without pain. The forest showed him visions of his own fears, Leora choosing another life, the village celebrating his failure, his own heart growing cold with time. Each vision forced him to confront the possibility that love might not be enough. He stumbled, he wept, and more than once he considered turning back. But every time he faltered, the memory of Leora's belief in him pushed him forward. Love, he realized, was not the absence of fear, but the decision to move through it. At the heart of the forest, Elaine found a clearing unlike any he had imagined. A pool of light shimmered at its center, and within it stood Leora, unchanged, as real as the ache in his chest. She was bound by threads of glowing energy, her eyes filled with both joy and sorrow. The forest had not taken her to punish her, It had taken her to protect something rare. Leora had a gift, the ability to awaken the forest's heart, and that gift demanded a price. She had chosen to stay, believing Elin would be safer without her. Seeing him there shattered her certainty and filled her with guilt. The forest revealed its truth to Elin without words. Love that crossed into its depths could not return unchanged. To free Leora, Elin would have to bind himself to the forest as well, becoming its guardian, a presence between worlds. He would lose the simple life he once knew, the warmth of the village, the future he had imagined. In exchange, he would gain something deeper, a purpose born of love, and a bond that transcended time. The choice pressed on him with unbearable weight. For a moment, Elin longed for the easy path, the one that led back to familiar pain rather than unknown sacrifice. But love had already changed him. He stepped forward, accepting the forest's offer not as a burden, but as a continuation of his devotion. The threads binding Leora dissolved, and the forest's light enveloped them both. Pain surged through Elin, not as punishment, but as transformation. Memories of the village faded, not erased, but softened, like distant echoes. When the light receded, Elin and Leora stood together, bound not by chains, but by a shared purpose. Their return to the village was quiet and strange. The forest released them at dawn, and the boundary stones crumbled, no longer needed. The villagers watched in stunned silence as Elin and Leora emerged, changed yet familiar. Fear turned into awe, and whispers into questions. Elin spoke not of magic or sacrifice, but of understanding. He told them the forest responded to the heart, that it was neither enemy nor refuge, but a mirror. Some villagers listened, others turned away, clinging to old beliefs. Change, Elin learned, was a slower journey than love. Life beyond the forest was different now. Elin and Leora lived between two worlds, tending the land, guiding travelers who strayed too close, and protecting the delicate balance the forest maintained. Their love was no longer the simple joy it once had been, but something richer and more resilient. They faced moments of doubt, loneliness, and the ache of what they had lost. Yet in those moments, they found strength in each other, and in the knowledge that their choice had given meaning to their pain. As seasons passed, stories spread of the enchanted forest no longer consuming the lost, but guiding them home. People spoke of a gentle light, of a presence that watched with compassion. Elin and Leora became legends not because of power, but because of love that refused to abandon hope. Children grew up hearing their story, not as a warning, but as an invitation to believe that courage and kindness could reshape even the darkest places. In quiet moments, Elin still remembered the boy he had been, standing at the forest's edge with a broken heart. He mourned that innocence, but he did not regret losing it. Love had carried him beyond fear, beyond the limits set by others, and into a life that felt true. Leora, too, carried her own grief, but together they transformed it into something enduring. Their love was not perfect, but it was honest, and it was enough. If this story has reached something deep within you, if it has reminded you of love you've lost, love you're holding on to, or love you're still searching for, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your engagement tells us these stories matter, and that hearts like yours are listening. Before we reach the end, I invite you to comment below and share what this story meant to you, or what love beyond fear looks like in your own life. Your words might become someone else's hope. In the end, the enchanted forest remained a place of mystery, but no longer of despair. It stood as a testament to the truth that love does not always lead us where we expect, but it leads us where we are meant to be. Elin and Leora's story lived on not because it was magical, but because it was human, rooted in sacrifice, resilience, and the quiet bravery of choosing love when everything else urges retreat. And somewhere, at the edge of every fear we face, there is a forest waiting, not to consume us, but to reveal how deeply we are capable of loving.